So today as you can see, I had a lot of time today to make videos and to just piggyback on a few things. So as you know, my deck of cards, the wisdom of natural hair, is now available, and what I thought would be fun, because we've talked about this before, that I will want to make videos on each of the cards. There are 55 cards in the deck. This deck is more there to inspire you, to promote natural hair, to promote self-acceptance, self-love, and just the diversity of who we are, and to love who we are. And what I thought was to do, because there are 55 cards, to see, let's do a card a day, something like that, a day for a card or something like that. So I've already started that. So the first card that you've seen and we've talked about was the card of courage. So I've made a video in French talking about courage. So talking about a reminder about courage. What is courage to you? How does courage show up in your life? What area do you need more courage in? Is it a matter of you being able to be true to yourself, to be able to speak your truth around people who kind of like make you shrink, people who may be scaring you because you know you have different belief from them, maybe you know you have different perception from them, or maybe you know that they are lying to you. So courage is a reminder for you to always, like, if you have something, most of the time when we need courage, we pretty much know what it is all about. In this card, she's basically having straightened hair, but in the back she knows that her hair looks like this. Her hair is kinky. So it is a matter of also turning around and facing your shadows, facing the things that you may have in your life that you know is there, that may be preventing you, that deep dark secret that you hide for years and years and years, that you feel is catching on to you. It may be time to just turn around and face that and get rid of it once and for all. And sometimes also it comes down to say that we may be scared of something that is much less scary than what we think it is. It's kind of like the image of being scared of a shadow of a tiger and turning around and seeing that it's a small cat, and thinking it was a tiger, just because our own imagination went over and over and magnify the actual imagery. So courage is something that you should feel free to call onto whenever you need it. And courage can take many forms. A lot of people sometimes talk to me about being fearless, not having fear anymore, not seeing fear anyways. And I always tell you, if you actually know someone who doesn't have any fears at all, please, I would love to meet that person, because I have yet to meet somebody who has no fears whatsoever. And this is why I say, don't strive to be fearless. Don't strive to never feel any type of fear, but strive just to be able to move past that fear. Fears is going to keep showing up. The reason why is because fears is part of our collective consciousness. Okay, so no matter how you try to banish it in your own self around you, it is still part of your collective consciousness. And that's why sometimes you have projection from TV, movies, people around you project their fears onto you and all different stuff. It's going to be very hard for you to escape that completely. I will say even almost impossible. However, if you're really in touch with yourself, you recognize the different fears. You recognize when somebody projects their own insecurities onto you, they project their own fears onto you, and you'll just move past them. And that's the key. Never let your fear paralyze you. Never let your fear hold you down. Never let your fear prevent you from doing what you're supposed to be doing. That is really the key, not striving for the impossible in terms of not even feeling any fear or seeing any fears, but rather in terms of you being able to move no matter what, you being able to see this greater challenge and still keep going, you being able to view whatever else is coming that may make you uncomfortable, that may trigger some internal fears, and still go for it, to still keep moving. Don't let that fear paralyze you. I think that's the greatest mistake that people do, is that they are so scared that they even stop thinking, they even stop moving. And that's when you can call on to courage. You can call on to the courage sometimes that you didn't even know you had inside of you. And sometimes it's also the matter of having those type of experiences where you're just very uncomfortable, and overcoming them, you realize that you even thought you will be able to overcome them, that you realize the other inner strength that you did have without even knowing. So it's kind of coming full circle in rediscovering yourself. Every time you have a greater challenge, and you move past through it, you overcome it, you realize how much more how strong you are. And I think that's the key for this card, for this message. It's just like, no matter what it is that secret that's taunting you, no matter what is that situation that makes you uncomfortable, whether it's directly related to your hair and your own relationship with your hair, or the way other people view your hair that makes you uncomfortable, or if no matter what other situation where you have a deep down secret, whether you have some type of insecurities, whether you have this projection of a objective or a dream that you want to achieve, but you're kind of like feeling that you don't deserve it, people are telling you down, people are telling you that you may not deserve it, or maybe that you're never gonna get there. And that's when you have to call on to that inner courage. That's when you have to really dive into yourself and keep going, keep yourself going. If you do have an urge to accomplish certain things, it's because you can do it. Not everyone felt called to become a healer or to become a speaker or to take care of other people. It's not everyone's calling. Not everyone has that kind of inspiration to do that. If you do have those kind of things, to become a painter, to become, a reporter, a photographer, whatever, follow that inner guidance, and have the courage. And if you listen to anyone that's successful in the industry or in the business, they will tell you that they've been frightened. Their time that they thought they will never make it, or that they wouldn't make it, their time that they even wanted to give up. But what made the difference with their success, and even I've seen that in my own personal life, in my own personal experiences, is that every time I push myself even beyond what I thought could be possible, I managed to make it through. And one being the experiences of having created those cards. I had this image in my head. I had to figure out how I'm going to be able to make them come true, how I'm going to be able to pay for it, how I'm going to be able to design them and create that and manifest that. And there were times where I wanted to give up. There were times where I wanted to just not do it anymore. Just like there's many things in life where you just want to give up. When it gets really tough and hard, sometimes one of the thoughts that we may get is something telling us, don't bother with that. You did whatever you could do. But when you silence that voice and you decide to push through anyways, that's when you really find the courage that has been always there with you, that's there right now, even at this moment. If you're feeling low, if you're in a situation where you kind of having a hard time right now, a difficult situation, it's like just be reminded that courage is already there, implanted, that seed is already within you. Let it grow, nurture it, and let it take you where you need to go. So that was just a sentence to talk about courage. I hope you do find the courage you need today, tomorrow, and all of day to come, and that you're always reminded that that inner strength is really truly within yourself. Thank you for being with me, Makeda Wisdom. I'll see you in my next video.